Hey, what's up, party people, and welcome to Draft Day. My name is Jason Brasher. I'm one of the hosts of Draft Day, and you guys aren't going to believe this, but I am joined by the other host of Draft Day, Mr. John Fleming. John, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing okay. I felt like there was a little bit of a build-up there and who was coming on. Thought maybe there was like a big special guest or something. I'm still trying to court, big time celebrities. I tweeted at NFL Network's Pete Schrager earlier today because apparently there was a headline that said he was a big fan of Draft Day. I didn't click through the article. I can only assume he's talking about the podcast and not the movie that's basically SpawnCon for his network, but
Yeah, no,
unknowable, really.
I mean, even if Pete won't come out and say it, it's just because we don't have the funds to be able to pay him to say it yet, but we'll get there, you know? And if we don't, we really don't put that much effort into it at this point. Like, let's be honest with ourselves, but you know, still fun. I am caffeine fueled as I run here today. I made the mistake last night of after getting home about 8:30, putting kids to bed, drink some caffeine, and then work till 3 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah, I did not do that. I mean I had caffeine like several hours ago, but I'm not like particularly fueled by it right now. I do have a Schlafly pump nail next to
oh,
me.
nice. In
It's
September, you dog.
I mean it truly is feeling like fall. Like I went to the Mizzou game last week and it was like kind of like 60 degrees and windy the whole day with like occasional rain. I was like this is actually the perfect day. Like this is the perfect day for Schlafly Pumpkin Ale and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Or it was indeed the 21st.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, as
But
long as you don't remember
yeah,
any details about the game, I think you're good.
yeah. Unfortunately, I was watching that on my like the ending of that game on my phone. I was at a fundraiser event for a place here in town, and I'm like sitting at dinner with my wife, who I haven't been on a date with in probably 4 months, and yet I'm still like, don't pull out your phone and turn on the game. But by the time we got to the fundraiser, I was like, okay, I have to watch this as we walk around. And luckily, there was an open bar, so I could just cope with
Nice.
alcohol. So
Yeah, ironically you probably had a better view on your phone of like the field goals and overtime than I did for my seat was really good for seeing most of the game, but you just could not tell if field goals were good or not. Like kick that Mizzou made that ended up being the winning points, and the kick that was like wildly missed by Vanderbilt, which were towards the same upright, looked the exact same to me. I could not tell the difference between them from where I was.
yeah, and it's a funny story. I actually missed the Vanderbilt one that ultimately ended the game because I was waiting in line to do one of the things. This is like a side center type place we were at the fundraiser for. So it was at that place. So we got to do a bunch of fun things. I was in the process of extracting DNA from a strawberry. But the best part about it
Okay.
was what you use to extract the DNA and have it float up to the top. Just happened to be rum. So when you were done extracting the DNA, it just turned into a little like little shot. So it was uh, it was actually a
I did.
pretty good time.
I didn't have any shots last Saturday. I had lots of other alcohols, but no shots. So you got me beat there.
Yeah, and my wife and I were at the fundraiser for 2 hours. I had a Boulevard Wheat, a three random shots of stuff that was like part of their tables. They're like, yeah, these demonstrate science things. Definitely not just
I like
handing
that
out free shots.
I like that you started with the Boulevard Wheat. It's like okay, it's a nice little it's higher ABV than like a light beer, but it's not anything crazy. And then
Yeah,
3 shots. Okay, got it.
and then I ended with was sold to me as a smoked old fashioned. Um, there
Okay.
was no smoking involved in it. They just made like a pretty typical old fashioned, which don't get me wrong, like I enjoy old fashions. But then they dropped dry ice in there to make it smoke.
Yeah, I've had one of those before. It did not taste dramatically different than a regular old fashioned to me,
No,
which
it looked cool for
I
a
like an old
couple
fashioned
minutes.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, but I really like a good smoked old fashioned where you actually like smoke the glass over wood for a minute or so. But
well, not
speaking
that
of
fancy.
drinks, yeah, I mean, what can I say? I am. If there's one thing that is used to describe me one word, it's definitely bougie. I think would be sophisticated. Maybe would be a great word to describe me. In my
I'll
Star
say
Wars
erudite.
T-shirt. Oh, geez, that. I mean, that just makes me think of the Divergent series because that's one of like the you know tribes or whatever they call them. You can pick is erudite, and they're the intellectuals,
I,
so it makes sense.
okay, I have no familiarity with that series, so
Um, Probably
there you
good
go.
to not. I mean, I've never read the books. I've only seen the films, and the films are first one's not bad. The rest are kind of trash. But I don't think they would be up your alley, knowing your film
Well,
watching.
sure.
I don't think YA is your jam.
Plus, it's saying yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, we can hop into talking a little bit about today's episode. A little bit of a different one, but we're going back to the well of our kind of our spitball episode, if you will, our ideas episode that produced the very unforgettable Hot President's Draft. Um,
I don't know if we're
and
topping hot presidents. That
I
was
don't.
up there.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody ever asks like the achievements, it's Hot President's Draft and then the 4 hour breakdown of the film draft day. I think are the two
Yeah,
like
I would say those are the
pinnacle
top two.
moments. Like, I do think that like there's a certain section of movie fans and music fans that may like those intense, crazy drafts we did. Um, but this one I think is a little more universal to everybody, and truthfully, I think is a thing that people do variations of on like TikTok and things like that. Um, or as I call it, YouTube Shorts, because I'm an adult and I don't have TikTok. I watch the TikToks 2 weeks behind everybody else on YouTube Shorts like an adult.
I like the idea that you're talking about YouTube Shorts like it's like the equivalent of like reading it out of like a leather bound book,
I
a
mean,
first edition or something. Yeah,
I do have some nice shells of rich mahogany. Um,
yeah. You have some nice bound like Star Wars books.
I mean, yeah, I wish I actually did. I actually do have my eyes on like a nicely like bound like set of like Tolkien's works, but you know, I'm a nerd, guys. Okay, deal with it. All right, it's nothing I can
Yeah,
talk about.
I was thinking, inspired by the Jennifer Lopez film *The Boy Next Door*. I was gonna get a first edition of the Iliad, just kind of keep it as a souvenir.
Big oh geez, is that Homer?
I think so.
Yeah, because it's Iliad, Odyssey, and
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know, Homer at least to the Odyssey. And I read that in
Inferno.
college.
Yeah,
Yeah, Inferno. Well, Inferno was Dante though, right? Dante's Inferno.
I don't. I've read none of these. I have no idea. I
I
am a
read
buffoon.
I read Inferno because I took like a mythology kind of class in college. That was my reading or my English credit I had to take. Um, so it was more interesting than I don't know 19th century British literature. No offense to our Brit Lit fans, but
All the Dickens heads are gonna start rioting.
yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe guess it'd be a little after, but yeah, if there's some like Chaucer people that are gonna start coming after me or something, I don't know. Um, but no, we're talking about fast food today, John. I draft a little,
We are talking fast food.
you know, gonna do a little thing. So the idea for this obviously is out. The finalized parameters that I came up with in about 10 seconds after John texted me, "Hey, what are the parameters going to be about this earlier today?" Were that John and I will each have 7 picks in this draft. We'll draft 2 main dishes, 2 side dishes, a drink, a dessert, and a wild card, which could be anything. It could fit into one of these categories. It could be something that you're like, I don't really know where this goes. If you want to draft the tube slide from McDonald's Play Place, I'd probably allow it.
I was really looking at getting the pairs of socks that they sell at McDonald's in case your kid's
Ooh.
not wearing socks to go in the play place.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Not
I
bad
mean,
quality socks. At least they weren't like 15 years ago when I worked there, but
so did the one you work at have a play place inside it?
I did.
Okay. Say it's like I feel like I took for granted what other McDonald's were like since I grew up. Like before you even hit a main road from my house, there was a McDonald's. So
That one has a
I
play
ate there
place though,
way.
right?
I think in the renovation it did, but like I feel like it did,
Okay.
then it didn't, and now it does again. I don't
I've
know. I've
been there
never
once
gone
or
in there.
twice. I don't have a lot of experience there.
Yeah, I've never been in there like since I had kids. Like I've done the drive-through a few times when visiting my parents. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, yeah, I mean, I put a few things on there that aren't food, some things that are, and um, but the big caveat to all this is, as soon as a restaurant is picked, whatever item is picked, that restaurant is off the board. So, you know, if I pick the Big Mac, that means that John's pick of the McPizza will no longer be available.
DLT also off the board, yeah.
Big DLT, yeah. Uh, that joke brings us to another thing that John and I kind of talked about. We won't be bringing up anything that is no longer available. Although if one restaurant does get brought up, even if it doesn't at the end, there's one thing I'm going to bring up that I really, really wanted because I think my wife and I are the only people in the world that remember slash enjoyed eating it. Um, but I will save that for when the time comes. John, anything else you want to say before we hop in here?
I do want to ask one little bit of clarification. So,
Sure.
um, I'm kind of thinking of this basically as being like a permanent like menu that I'm keeping around.
Mhm.
That's sort of the
Sure.
approach I'm taking with it. With drink, are we just going to assume that like water is just kind of like a freebie? Like
Yes.
the drink is like in addition to. Okay. So it's not like I'm like stuck with whatever drink I have and I can't drink anything else while eating this food.
No, I mean the way I see it, this is
Okay.
like a yeah, like this is a menu that you stick to, but yeah, like water is an implied like don't waste your drink pick. It's more to highlight like if there's something that's special at a place that you can only get there and you really enjoy. Or
Okay.
I know like certain people like they say McDonald's has like different they have agreements with like Coca-Cola for like different mixtures of those. Um, I've never been one of those people. It's like, oh, it's so much better there. But um, yeah, water I would say is an implied given. So yeah, like if you get a soda, you're not just going to have to be chugging soda all the time and not allowed to drink water.
You have the first pick because of
I,
how pool turned out today.
I did win in pool today. Um, Everything lining up for me, and I'm not gonna lie. Since I came up with my list, maybe I don't know 4 hours ago, maybe when I had most of it down, like literally the entire dinner conversation tonight with my family, so my wife and my son, mostly was me like, "What's your guys' favorite? Like, what should I do with the first pick?" Because I feel like it really sets the tone for this whole draft. Do I go at taking a big player off the board? Do I just go for my favorite menu item, but it may not be one that John's really interested in that place, so it doesn't really play into his factor. And there's a few different thoughts out there, but I'm gonna go to an interesting one to start. Maybe not the place isn't interesting, but maybe what I'm gonna take is,
Okay.
and I will go to your former employer. I'm gonna take the big dog Mickey D's off the bat. We're gonna go into the side category, and I'm gonna take the McDonald's hash brown.
That's the correct call for McDonald's sides. That good call.
Um, because I mean, I will say I eat McDonald's very like I'm in no way a person that doesn't go out and eat fast food still, but McDonald's is very much not in my wheelhouse a whole lot. Breakfast is the exception to that because I do think that they're still one of the elite players in the fast food breakfast game. The problem is that when I was a kid, I felt like hash browns were under $1, and now I think they're like two something for a hash
They're,
brown.
they have a deal where you can get two of them for like 350 or something.
Yeah,
It's
which it's
way less
insane.
good of a deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, this is the one thing my wife, who is she's pretty like anti McDonald's, but the two things that she'll always like be down for is a hash brown and an egg McMuffin. Those are like her two go-to things. But yeah, I thought while McDonald's has good French fries from the side game, a lot of other places have French fries.
Yeah,
Um,
the difference is just a lot smaller.
yeah, it's you know, and now it's an interesting thing because it's. I guess we'll see if I decide to have two potatoes or does that take all fries off the board for me. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. But yeah, I mean, you know, other things I guess we can talk in this time is like maybe another thing or two that you on your list or you considered from McDonald's. For me, the main actually, I'm not a huge guy, but I do love me some nugs. So like chicken McNuggets. Um,
Fair enough. Yeah. Not
and
my
actually,
favorite. Not my favorite fast food nugget. I know some people just go crazy for them, but I get it.
yeah, I mean
They have a
I,
good variety of dipping sauces too. That
yeah,
helps.
I actually had their tangy barbecue on as a potential wild card, just because it's it's very different and it's just my favorite sauce from there. I know people love the buffalo sauce and things like that, but I don't know. Was there anything that I mean? Obviously, you've eaten quite a bit of McDonald's, having worked there for
Yeah.
years, but like, what was your go-to when you
I will.
worked like for your meal on the clock? Like, what did you usually go to?
So the way that the meals worked on the clock was basically it was just a value meal. It wasn't like you were trying to get to a certain dollar amount or anything. Usually, if I was doing it for breakfast, I would get the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. Usually for like lunch and dinner, I would change it up a little bit, but probably the grilled chicken sandwich they had. I think like the club was probably my main one there because it was like more of a ranch sauce rather than a mayo and had bacon on it and stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, like I think that the strength of McDonald's at that point was like the dollar menu was like getting like the big and tasty for $1. Eventually, like the double cheeseburger, the McDouble for $1, McChicken for $1. Which I know that McChicken's still around, but I think it's like not
Dollar.
that expensive. It's like a dollar
Yeah,
49 or whatever.
it's under $2.
Yeah, and it's not bad, but I think McDonald's especially usually whenever I see like horror stories about like how bad inflation is when it comes to fast food prices, usually in addition to the fact that it's people who are like door dashing it, which like yeah, you have like a special chauffeur for your like Big Mac, it's going to cost a little more,
Well, yeah.
but also it's always McDonald's because McDonald's I think has really taken advantage of it in ways that other fast food places haven't necessarily. But yeah, hash brown is a solid call. The highest ranked thing that I actually had um, from McDonald's was a tie between the hash brown, which you picked, and the hold on, what was that? Oh, the caramel sundae, just nice and simple. They used to be a
Yeah.
dollar. I think they're a little more than $1, but not that much more. Like honestly, that I always thought that like the McFlurries were kind of a sucker bet at that point in time, just because they were like 3 times as expensive as these items where you would just get like a caramel sauce or a fudge sauce and like the same amount of ice cream. But
Yeah, no,
yeah, I
I was a
think
big fan of those fudge sundaes for sure.
I'm more of a caramel than a fudge guy, but I'm not going to argue against the fudge either.
Yeah. No, I mean it's
Yeah,
that's the take your pick of the two, and I mean, if you saw my
Like,
dessert list, I'm very much a chocolate guy. So,
if I went to, let's put it this way, if I was just really craving really craving caramel sundae, and I went there and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we're all out of caramel. Would you like a fudge sundae?" I would tell them to die. No, I'm just kidding. They'd be
oh, okay.
fine.
You'd be like, oh wow, the ice cream machine's actually working. Okay, you know.
Yeah, that's those are my biggest horror stories of working at McDonald's is people yelling at me over the ice cream machine being broken. It's like I didn't like do maintenance on the machine. I don't know what do you want from me,
It's like,
people?
you're like,
But
I take drive-through orders, man. Like,
yeah,
what do you want?
look, if you don't want ice cream, that's fine. If you like, there are some other fast food places, right? There's a Burger King right down the road. That's fine. But anyway,
Yeah,
move on to mine,
yeah,
and this probably will not come as a huge shock to you. But I'm going to the well of what is by far the fast food that I eat the most, which is Taco Bell.
yep. Figured.
So yeah, so listeners, I mean, I'm sure some listeners know, but some may not know that I do not eat meat and have not for 7+ years at this point. So it is a little bit of an interesting kind of gambit here because like I'm still open to drafting like things with meat in them. I'm not gonna like abide by that as a rule, but like having like knowing that there are options that don't have the meat in them make it a little bit more of a diverse option.
Yeah,
I am going to go with the cheesy bean and rice burrito. The cheesy bean and rice burrito from Taco Bell is like the fact that it's not like $4 or $5 for one is incredible. It's $1.49 currently. It just like something about the cheese in it is just so delicious. It just like oozes out. I don't know why people ever order the bean burrito because it's more expensive, it's smaller, it has fewer ingredients and no additional ingredients. Not a thing that I personally understand. I think the bean burrito is fine, but cheesy bean and rice burrito is where it's at. Within the last year, it jumped up from $1 to $1.49, which is heartbreaking, but also like that's still a really good deal in terms of fast food. I think that as far as the Taco Bell menu, there are like other good things out there, but I think that like most of the items are like I've always been a go for the dollar menu items kind of guy, regardless of what the dollar menu items are.
yeah.
I guess the items that people might be thinking of is like as far as the drinks, the Baja Blast, which I think is okay, but I'm not really into the Baja Blast. That's never the
I
drink that
mean,
I get whenever I go there.
yeah, me neither. You know, I enjoy Pepsi Zero pretty well, so that's usually what I think I end up
Yeah.
getting if I'm at Taco Bell. But
And then the nacho fries obviously were a sensation.
mhm,
The the Doritos Locos Tacos I think have kind of started to fall off a little bit. But they were a really
yeah,
big deal when they came
those
out.
are
I
those are
think that
still
they're
my that actually made my list as my like main suggestion. It is decently far down the list from Taco Bell, but yeah, I'm still a Doritos Locos guy. They are like I do find it crazy how expensive like just crunchy tacos are in general for like what they are there, which is kind of sad. And
a
this is
few a
coming from
few
me.
items like the burrito supreme, for instance, is like $5, and it's about the same size as a cheesy bean and rice burrito. Granted, it has the ground beef and it has tomatoes in there, but it's like not really any heartier.
Yeah,
It's
and
like you can do
it,
better than this.
if you want to get a lot of food and you're not getting some sort of like $5 or $7 box when you go to Taco Bell, what are you doing? Well, let's be honest with ourselves.
Or just ordering straight off the dollar menu.
Yeah, or doing that, depending how you want to. Because yeah, I mean, cheesy gordita crunch always a solid,
Yeah.
choice that you can usually get in one of those boxes. Um, you know, a thing I had on the desserts too. I'm a cinnamon twist guy. I enjoy cinnamon twists from
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
Cinnamon twists are good. Um, did they I feel like they got rid of the caramel empanadas at some point. I looked on their menu
Yeah,
earlier today and I didn't see them. I haven't ordered one in forever, but
yeah, it's been a while.
honestly, if I were to go with like the like fried hot apple thing, which I know what a big fan of hot fruit
Cooked
you
fruit,
are,
yeah,
but
cooked fruit. Me and yeah,
yeah, if I were gonna If I were going to go that route, I would actually probably go the McDonald's route, like whenever they had the apple pies that were
The apple pies.
basically
Hmm.
like hot pockets of apple pies, but you get them for like two for $1 up until
Yeah.
recently.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's funny you actually talk about the fried apple stuff. My wife, we found at Aldi last night like canned fried apples in like their special seasonal aisle. So for breakfast this morning, I didn't partake in them, but for her and my son, and I guess my daughter did too. But we had crescent rolls, so she like wrapped them up, did like a cinnamon sugar sauce, put them on the bottom, drizzle over the
Oh, that
top. It was. And William's like, Dad, I
sounds
actually ate
so
breakfast
good.
this morning. And I said, Yeah, of course you did, because you just ate sugar for breakfast. We also recently introduced him to toaster strudels, and oh my gosh, was his mind blown. Um, and I think we'd be remiss if we brought up Taco Bell and didn't bring up one of my great college achievements involving
Oh,
Taco Bell.
no.
Um,
I'll let you tell the
if another
story. It's
restaurant
your
comes up,
accomplishment.
yeah, our junior year, Jason had a bit of a let's take on food challenges. I mean, McDonald's, there was the 50 nuggets that I put down with a large fry and a large drink. Taco Bell, I in one sitting put down an entire party pack of crunchy tacos in one sitting. There was something that
And
followed
that
it.
was 12 tacos, is that right?
12 tacos. Yep. And those
Okay,
were like I
yeah.
want to say that was only it was only like 10 or 12 bucks. Like it was a good deal.
Yeah.
And but it was just like a random was it a Sunday night that we went? I did it. I feel like
I
that
was
would make
gonna
sense.
guess a Saturday, but I can't say that I'm
Yeah.
like
I remember some of the
consistent
people who were
upon
with
that.
us and it was yeah, because it was a lot of like fraternity people, I guess, with us. But
Yeah.
yeah, but so I did that and then I followed it up with a well something that could come up later, so I guess I won't I'll save that for later on. But yeah, there's a few other food accomplishments of junior year Jason that maybe will come up if certain restaurants make their way onto the list here. But I autographed that party pack and it hung on the wall of my dorm room for the remainder of that year. Pretty proud of it. And now I look back and like
As well you should be.
as an old man now, I mean I could say old John. I mean look at this. Look at the grays coming in now, man. This is what you don't have these because you don't have kids. So um,
I have like a gray in my beard.
yeah, that's from your dog probably. But I
Yeah,
shaved this
probably.
morning because I had a 5 o'clock shadow. My wife's like, you need to shave. So um, I did. But
All right,
yeah,
you're up.
I'm up. All right. So a lot of ways we can go here. Um, let's see. I'm going to go into my wild card here early. And
Oh,
it's frankly
okay.
one that I just did. And it's more of I could probably put this as a main, but it's sort of a combination thing. So I'm going to combine it. And I'm going to go visit the Colonel. And I'm going to take the KFC Famous Bowl
That was on my list. Yep.
um, with my next pick. You know what I mean in the sense that it has both a main and sides inside of it.
I would have
Like,
personally counted it as a main, but I do appreciate what you're saying.
um, it is one of the better deals. I mean, for the bowl alone, I think it's around $4, $4 to $5 for that whole bowl. Um,
They used to be kind of overpriced, and then the price just hasn't changed for like
yeah,
ever.
yes. I mean, like it's cheaper than getting like three tenders with a side and a biscuit to get a famous bowl. Um, and to be fair, like this is something that like we've introduced my son to where like we do it at home where we just buy frozen popcorn chicken and then make corn mashed potatoes and gravy at home and it's
Yeah,
I'd
my,
say we
my
do that.
family definitely did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it was always we'll probably bring up a lot of college stories because I feel like that's where our food comes in, but that was always the big night in the dining halls was like, oh, it's famous bowl night. And
Yeah.
you know I mean, I remember literally sitting in my room and be like, all right, who can eat the most famous bowls? And like I had a buddy who ate like 5 of them, I think, in one like
Oh,
night.
ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, so the famous bowls in the dorms were pretty good. Like the quality of chicken was better than you would expect for the
Agreed.
situation.
Yeah, it wasn't like bad frozen popcorn chicken. Like it was
Yeah,
decently breaded and usually cooked pretty good. But yeah, I
yeah.
mean, KFC is a place that I don't know. I feel like I go there more now than I used to because my wife, uh, that famous bowl pick also partially for her. She is the champion of the famous bowl. I'll get it sometimes, but I'll rotate what I get.
Sure.
Sometimes get stuff split with my son, but it's you know, and she's also very like against fried chicken on the bone. Doesn't
My,
like
my
it.
wife's the
So
same way. It's not a thing I personally understand, but
I mean, yeah, I grew up. I mean, fried chicken was a staple in like family gatherings. That was back in the day when you could get like fried chicken at parties and stuff. Like if I went to my
oh yeah,
grandma's, and like so they come with a big old like two big old boxes of chicken from Hardee's or which it's weird now because if you don't go to like KFC or like Popeyes, like the only places to get like fried chicken are like places that are in gas stations now, which is just like weird.
yeah. I mean, like churches, I guess would be.
Yeah, I always forget churches exist despite it being the closest chicken place to me growing up. But it was also right next to, at the time, was a Dunkin' Donuts, which I believe now is a Hertz Rent-A-Car. Um, so,
I'm trying to picture that area, and I'm just completely blanking. But
um, yeah, I'll tell
I,
you
I,
off
I get it though.
air, so it's
Fair.
not.
Yeah, we'll avoid doxing your parents.
Yeah, yeah, avoid that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, I think from a value and just a what you get standpoint, it's a you know, since the double down is only a sometimes thing, um, you know, we'll stick with this. I do think that they're for being fast food. This also helps me get some mashed potatoes and gravy in there, which like for being a fast food side, like their mashed potatoes and gravy is pretty good.
Yeah, I had that on my list of potential sides. Was the mashed potatoes and gravy at KFC. My peak of eating KFC was also in college. However, and you know this about me, and honestly, people who have just heard me on the podcast might have picked this up about me. I love a value. I cannot pass up a
Oh,
value.
I know where you're
The
going with this.
So the KFC in Kirksville sold snack boxes for $2, and it was just loaded to the top with potato wedges and popcorn chicken. And you like in terms of like filling you up, you could not beat that. There was no way you could possibly top that. But it made me so sick every time because it was so greasy and just so
Yeah,
pretty much
it
post
definitely wasn't
college
the
I pretty much
cleanest.
yeah, it was rough.
Good times, man. Good times. All right, well, go
Alrighty.
ahead and make your next selection.
So I am going to just allow you to tell your story because for desserts, I am going to Dairy Queen. I am going with the Blizzard. Specifically, I'm going to go with the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Blizzard. I prefer the peanut butter cup ones to the Reese's Pieces ones. Like I'll take a Reese's Pieces one, but I think just having like kind of the softness of the peanut butter rather than like getting like kind of a harder like it's not a hard candy per se, but like once you put like Reese's Pieces or M&Ms or something of that kind of ilk in ice cream, it makes it a little bit less fun to chew on. But
Yeah,
yeah, Reese's peanut butter cup will always work for me. I don't really have like I don't go to Dairy Queen super often, but if I do, I'm basically just like looking to see if they have like a specialty one available that's basically like a Reese's peanut butter cup, like mixed with other things. Because sometimes they'll do that for like the seasonal ones, but
mhm.
I'll just go standard flavors for here.
Yeah,
Obviously, a lot of St. Louisans will get defensive about the Blizzards because of the Ted Drews connection.
yeah.
But Here's the thing. I'm not Ted Drew's isn't a fast food restaurant. That wasn't available to me. I'm just
Yeah, what wasn't available.
yeah, and like, are you gonna tell me a Blizzard's not good? Are you out of your
Yeah,
mind? What are we doing here?
yeah. I mean, it's funny. You actually, in a way, blocked me from my number one dessert. However, a blizzard at all was not my number one dessert choice. Um, and that's because
Interesting.
my top one was a Dairy Queen ice cream cake because those are
Okay.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess I was thinking a little more like individual serving type things, but
well,
yeah, I mean,
and I don't know if they do because I haven't been to a Dairy Queen inside for a while. They used to sell like individual ones that you could buy inside.
oh, really?
Um,
Interesting.
yeah, because we would go there a lot. I forget why we go there a lot, but like I remember I would always like get blizzards, and then my sister found these in the case. They're like next to like the dilly bars or whatever,
Yeah.
and we would eat those. And then once we found them, we're like, we want individual ice because that was like most of the time it was like birthday. We would get an ice cream cake kind of a thing, but um, yeah, no, I mean Dairy Queen. I think if you're going there for anything other than dessert, like the chicken strip basket's fine, I guess, but
They used to
I
have
don't
a
know.
good lunch that was connected to the chicken strip basket, but I believe that's gone now.
Yeah, it's I don't know. And I literally one time I went to a Dairy Queen here where I live, and written on the bag was "Help me." Um, yeah.
Huh?
So I don't know if somebody was really bored, so like we circled the building a few times, see if they were like being held up. And
Yeah, that would be my guess, but that they were
I
just
never heard.
bored.
Yeah, I'm guessing that it wasn't the busiest of places, but
It's probably not like
nonetheless,
human traffickers or something. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I don't think Diddy owned that McDonald or that Dairy Queen. So
that's dark. We'd have to revisit
yeah,
draft day with all the new information, the movie now that we have this new information.
yeah. I mean, hmm, I'm not
So,
going to say anything else about it, so I don't get us like canceled in the public eye.
yeah. So your story about circling the
Oh,
Dairy Queen
of course.
reminds me of, well, you have your story, and I want you to tell that. But
Yeah,
the
you
last
tell
time
yours.
that so I went to a Taco Bell probably within the last year or so, and I just went through the drive-through, and the person who was like a couple cars in front of me was like clearly yelling and just like screaming and berating the employee over God knows what, which is obviously a very productive thing to do. You should always harass fast food workers. They will give you everything you knock it off everybody.
Yeah.
I think it goes without saying, but so around the time that so they eventually move on after a long time of holding up the line, but by the time that I'm getting my food, a police car is pulling up with like the lights on, and I was like, do these people call the cops on Taco Bell? I think they might have called the cops on Taco Bell.
Or
So I
Taco
kind
Bell
of
called the cops on them.
yeah, whatever it was, the employees at the Taco Bell were primarily people of color. The person in the drive-through was primarily a white person, and I decided, there's enough stories out there of incidents like this devolving that I feel like I should probably be a witness. Everything worked out fine, but it was just like, this is dicey.
Yeah. That's boy, yeah. I don't think I've ever been around like I've seen actually at a Dairy Queen one time when I was in it was either summer from college or when I was in high school, and I worked fairly close to Dairy Queen, so I drove there for lunch one day, and this dude just like went off and then didn't take his food. So this poor girl at the drive-thru's like, do you want this Blizzard? So I mean, of course I don't want to hurt her feelings, so of course I took it. Took
Sure,
it back
yeah.
to I took it back to my coworker because I'd actually also ordered ice cream. But yeah, and I guess to finish up the story that we started earlier, and that is after having the Taco Bell party pack, did I stop there? Oh no, next door happened to be a Dairy Queen, in which I then proceeded to down a large chocolate extreme blizzard with
Like,
relative ease.
which is insane anyway. But you also are like somewhat lactose intolerant.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely not as bad now,
oh,
but in college it was like it. I paid for it, like there's no doubt. But I don't know, man. I've always had a thing like ice cream is like bar none probably my favorite dessert. Like I could be the fullest I've ever been, and somebody's like, "Hey, we got ice cream." I'm like, you know what? My second stomach just opened up. Um, can always put it down, and I actually now have a my sister-in-law where she lives now works for a place that sells frozen delights. So every time I go visit her, it's like, oh darn, I guess we got to go get ice cream. So
right. You
yeah,
are
man.
you are next up.
All right, with number three. Hmm. How do I want to play this? Still don't have a main, but I think I. It's funny because it's like when it comes to the mains, I feel like I've got like a lot of these. I've got some pretty random ones that I frankly just don't think that you're gonna go for.
I mean, the key here is just to make sure that the restaurant doesn't get chosen because
Correct, and that's what I mean. These aren't
even if
ones
it's
that. So I think I'm gonna take. I'm gonna go with my second side actually, and We're gonna go visit Dave Thomas, and
oh,
we're gonna take some Wendy's chili, baby.
that's fair.
Um,
I was circling Wendy's for a few different items there, so good
yeah,
call.
I mean, I will say I like the chili because it's a diverse play. It's a side dish you can get that's good and that is not potato based.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a rarity.
so, but speaking of potatoes at Wendy's, I do want to stress on anybody if you have not gone to Wendy's for breakfast and partaken in their breakfast potatoes.
Oh, they're
Uh,
very good.
oh, they are like, their sandwiches are like some of them are okay, but like the breakfast potato wedges are next level. Um, I'm also a big Baconator guy. I got the pretzel version of it.
Yeah.
It's even better. Uh,
Yeah, pretzel baconator was actually the next main I had on my list. So
safe and also good from there. From in you know my eyes is the spicy chicken nuggets. They're much better than the regular chicken nuggets, in my opinion.
it,
But
have you had because now they have the ones that are like pre-sauced. Have you had those or
I did
like
one
just the
one
regular
time.
nuggets?
I did the spicy ones that were sauced in barbecue, and like because it's a flavor combination I'm a big fan of, and like it was fine, but I wouldn't say that it like blew my mind versus just like dipping it in barbecue sauce. Um, and it was messier to eat. Like I had to eat it with a fork, but
Yeah. I also had the chocolate frosty that was
yep,
circling,
yep. Frosty
which
was
is
definitely
still
on the
remarkably
list.
cheap. Yeah.
Well, and you do the thing where you can literally like when they have the key tags, you donate $1 and you can literally get like a free junior frosty every day for a year.
It's wild. They must have some incredible like margins on that I don't quite understand, but they
Or they
are
just assume that a majority of the people that get it like don't or they forget they have it.
where they like feel like if you're going through, you have to get something else too, so it becomes a whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, they don't know that we have no shame. It would just be like, yeah, I just want my frosty.
Well, I have shame though. It's unfortunate. I'm
Oh, yeah,
cheap, but
same.
also I'm filled with shame. It's a bad
Okay, but
combination.
yeah, but then you can just, well, I was gonna say you can just get, go. I wonder if you can do it at breakfast
It's
time because they do like the frosty coffee. So if you could just get a frosty at breakfast with some potato wedges, that'd be a bomb breakfast.
probably and Yeah, Wendy's breakfast is like kind of my favorite of the fast food breakfasts at this point. They have the 2 for 3 deal. You get a couple egg
Oh
and cheese biscuits, or you get an egg
yeah,
and cheese biscuit and the side of the potatoes. It hits.
yeah. No, I mean it's definitely a good one. I if it weren't for me living close to another place that may come up, and it may be a breakfast item potentially that comes up for my location, it would definitely probably make it. But yeah, I mean, I will say this does make me sad about a few other sides that I was eyeballing, but I think for the value, you gotta take the Wendy's chili here, and um, I don't know. I'm also just a big like chili is one of like my favorite things to eat.
Oh, sure,
I get
yeah.
sad in the summer because my wife doesn't necessarily like to have chili in the summertime. Like I get it, but like I'd eat chili anytime,
Yeah,
and it
the
became a
fact
large part
that
of my wife's diet.
well, chili is also like the chili at Wendy's in particular is the rare item that is like a non-potato, so it's kind of a rare treat, but it's also not like cost prohibitive because there are some things at other places where they're
Yeah,
like, "Hey, this is unique. This is different. We're going to charge you way too much for it."
yeah, and that's yeah, you can get a cup of chili for a couple bucks. That's not
Yeah, that's the problem that I
exactly.
have with the Dairy Queen soft pretzels. Like they're
Mm,
pretty
yeah,
good, but they're just way overpriced for what they are.
yeah, it's like you're charging me as much as you would for like a burger for these like pretzels. Like I'm good,
Yeah.
thanks.
So and like I live in St. Louis, so I'm gonna just go to Gus's Pretzels and get
And that's fair.
like an entire bag full of pretzels that'll be my food for the day for like the same price of like
Yeah,
two relatively small pretzels.
yeah, for like for what I mean, what are they like a buck a pretzel or whatever? Like
It's not even that much. It's like
yeah,
65 cents a pretzel.
yeah, it's the absolute best, and like yeah, I try to make it there every time I'm in St. Louis because pretzels are like a goat food for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So for my next option, I noticed that a lot of my fry options are falling by the wayside right now. So I am going to go with a restaurant that I don't necessarily like a whole lot of their items, but I really like their fries. I'm going to go with the curly fries at Arby's.
That is
I
one
love
of
a
the
yeah, I love a curly fry and
oh sure,
yeah,
Arby's is best in the game.
yeah. And they're like one of the rare places where the curly fry is like if not the standard, at least like a co-standard.
Hmm.
Like I remember I went to an I was probably like in college or something. I went to an Arby's that wasn't in like the area, and I just ordered like a small fry or whatever. And then whenever I got these like regular potato fries, I was like, wait what?
What is
Why
this?
would they bother selling these? And like I had them, and they were like okay, but clearly not as good as what I could be having, which was
Sure.
a curly fry, which is why I'm taking it here. Yeah, I will take a curly fry in pretty much all. It was actually my number one rated fry. There were just a lot of ones that I had below it that were falling off. So
Hmm. Yeah, it's
yeah,
the
let's
only
go with it.
thing from I think Arby's that I put on any of my lists. I will
Yeah.
say that there would have been if they were still around, Arby's would have had a tough fight with. I was also a big fan of the potato cakes. Those are also a
I
very
don't think
good
I ever
side.
had those.
They were almost like thicker McDonald's hash browns. They were like triangular. Um, but like me and my dad, we still lament sometimes over the fact that Arby's doesn't have potato cakes. But like again, growing up in St. Louis, you living in St. Louis, like if I was going to go get a roast beef sandwich, like I was going Lion's Choice. I wasn't going to pick Arby's over Lion's Choice.
So
So
I'm not actually a huge Lion's Choice person. Just it was
I mean,
okay. I had it like one time and I was like, this is fine, but I'm just not
no,
like enamored with it.
I've gotten like my wife and her family. So like if any of us are ever there, like we almost always stop at Lion's Choice. That's a big. I thought about that one, but it seemed maybe a little too regional for this, so it didn't make any of my lists. But you know,
Most of the places that I have on here are like maybe like semi-regional, but for the most part, it's
Yeah, I try to keep pretty
Like,
big national ones on my
yeah,
list. But yeah, I mean,
right,
Arby's, they have the meats, but we're taking their fries. So I'm
right.
really curious what you do with your second side. Do you take another fry or are you done with fries? Because when you were
World was
talking
my
about,
oyster.
I say, yeah, I thought there was another fry that you might be going with when you were describing it, but then you went with this one. Um, all right. Next one. So we've got, some American food on here. You have the Taco Bell. So I'm gonna go a little different style, I think, with my next
I like
pick.
that. I like that Taco Bell is like the most diverse thing on the.
Yeah. So I mean, to be fair, what I'm doing is very much not as diverse. Like I'll preface this by saying there are lots of local places that I would visit before getting this, but I did put on here the for my first main, I'll take the Panda Express orange chicken.
I had
Uh,
actually never had Panda Express.
it's like it's fine. I didn't know, and I didn't do the research. I'm actually a bigger fan of the chain place Payway. I think I like that better than Panda Express.
Yeah, okay.
Uh, but
I haven't had that either.
their orange chicken's pretty bomb. Like and I'm very basic when I eat Chinese food. It's like orange chicken, maybe like beef and broccoli, not. Um, and then
The
I'm
orange
also
chicken
like the
is
guy.
like it's a staple for a reason. Like
Yeah,
it works every time.
I mean, and I live in a city where literally like the dish that like St. Louis has all their things like toasted wraps, all stuff like what we have here is Springfield style cashew chicken. Like that's literally like our thing that we're known for. Um, I
Well,
won't
St.
lie.
Louis does have this. We do have the St. Paul. Speaking of Chinese
Yeah,
restaurants,
it's
I've
true.
also never had a St. Paul, so this may speak to just how much Chinese food I've had in my life. But
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I didn't necessarily like start eating. Oh, I mean, I'd almost say Asian food in general a whole lot. Like even in college, where that was like one of the main things people would do. But my wife is very big, and now like you know I've turned into like maybe overcompensating. We actually went to a Korean fried chicken place last weekend,
nice.
which was fantastic. Um, had like a Korean corn dog that had no hot dog in it, where it's just like deep fried cheese. That was pretty
You
delicious.
insist, yeah.
So but yeah, I mean it's that I mean I don't know if it's limited or not. I did the last time that we had Panda Express, they had like spicy orange chicken that I got, and it was surprisingly warm but very good.
Okay.
Um, and I don't know, it's something different, so I'm not just like loading this up with like burgers, fries, and chicken. It's like, I mean, yes, this is chicken, but it's a little different flavoring. Um, I did have also on my potential for sides before they were gone the egg rolls from Panda Express. Uh, I'm not a
Okay.
big egg roll guy, but I do like in terms of the sides. Like I'm a boring guy who generally gets like steamed white rice as opposed to getting fried rice, just because I'm basic. But yeah, we'll take some orange chicken. Why not? We'll be a little different here.
So, like I said, I've never had Panda Express. There was a week a few years ago. This would have been like right before I stopped eating meat, but there was like a week that I was off work and I didn't really have any plans. So my like idea of like way to kind of occupy time, but also feel like I was having like some sort of fun was to go to fast food places that I had never been before. And one of the ones that was on my list was Panda Express, and I don't remember what happened, but it just like completely fell through, and that is the story of why I've not had Panda Express. It's
I mean,
the first time I ever had Lion's Choice was that week. The first time I ever had what's it called? Raisin Canes was that week.
okay, yeah, I think in that case, then you can probably, it's not one, luckily, that goes out though, because there are plenty of vegetarian options. So like, you can still definitely hit it up.
I could, I just haven't. Yeah.
Yeah. I also don't know that there's one particularly close to you. Like I know there's one
There's
kind of
one.
over. I know the one next to a big gas station.
Yeah, that would be my closest one. That's not too far from me.
Yeah,
It's not like around the corner, but it's not like it would not be absurd to go there.
yeah. No, yeah, I guess it would be too far. But all right,
All right. I'm
what do you
currently
got
up
up
and I'm
next?
currently being attacked by a dog that's licking me, so I gotta avoid avoid causing too much drama here. So I am going to go into hmm, let's venture into the world of main items again.
Okay.
Um, I am gonna go to a place that's a little bit more like fast casual than it is a true fast food restaurant, but this actually came up in our conversation from like weeks ago when we were discussing what qualifies. I'm gonna go with Chipotle,
Okay.
which kind of, a little bit of an overlap with the cheesy bean and rice burrito, though I'm not
Say,
going with a burrito from Chipotle. My standard order is a burrito bowl. I get it with the sofritas, but it works for the chicken as well. Wouldn't argue against anyone who wanted to do that. I go brown rice, pinto beans, green chili salsa, fajita veggies, cheese, romaine lettuce. It's delightful. The thing about the burrito bowl is they truly will like. Usually, I'm resistant to like whenever places are like, oh, you can have like that the low carb option. It's basically just like we're not going to give you a bun or whatever. You just feel like you're kind of like not getting fully what you get. But with Chipotle, they legitimately do give you so much more of like
oh,
what would
absolutely.
otherwise be like the inside of a burrito. So, and like, let's be honest, if you're eating a Chipotle burrito, it's gonna fall apart on you anyway. So it's basically gonna turn into a burrito bowl whether you wanted to or not.
Sure.
So yeah, the burrito bowl is gonna be my choice
Yeah,
here.
that's solid. It's funny how, like, as you were describing your burrito bowl, I'm like, oh, I get the opposite. Oh, I get the opposite. Oh, I get like, I'm a black bean white rice guy.
It's too bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, not
I thought
really a
about I
green
thought
sauce
about
guy
cheating.
either.
I don't necessarily have a strong preference as far as like the color of the salsa. It's more of like the level of spice and like
Mhm.
they have like the hot salsa, which is like pretty good. But honestly, the main time that I get Chipotle is it's a place that I'll go for like road trip type things, and I don't want to go too spicy there, too risky.
Got to go easy on the belly. Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
And
it's like,
I
oh,
thought
sorry,
about
guys.
like Trojan horsing. I thought about Trojan horsing beer into here because they sell beer at Chipotle, but decided that it wasn't really in the spirit.
I mean,
Also, it's like not that good a beer, so
yeah, I mean, if it was like,
I've never actually
that's,
gotten a beer at Chipotle, but it is an option.
yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, like, I remember us in college meeting like one of the like regional managers of Chipotle, like coming back to visit us and stuff. And I was like, oh, and then it like blew up. And then they had the scare with stuff. And now it's like, I don't know. I have a Chipotle in town. I couldn't tell you the last time I went. I think it's because my wife's just not a huge fan. And I guess now that like I'm an adult and I'm not like relying on takeout food, like I just go to an actual Mexican restaurant if I want to eat.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. That is sort of the drawback.
But I definitely, when I worked in St. Louis, though, I would meet up with a friend every week who worked in the same complex. And Chipotle, there was one within walking distance of our office. So, like, when I worked there, I definitely had my share of burritos and burrito bowls. So, just kind of, I actually got good to the point where I would not break the burrito, but like, I was like
Wow.
unwrapping the foil off the burrito as I ate it to hold it in place.
So
So,
I'm basically imagining somebody like they're playing Jenga. Basically, it's like you'd be very precise. You can't move too quickly. You can't move too slowly. You have to.
but yeah, you got to think about your next bite. I mean, it's
Yeah, you gotta plan it out in advance. Yeah, I more or less agree with you that if I'm gonna go the because like Chipotle does just kind of have a convenience to it, and like it is pretty hearty if you are careful about what you get on it, you can get like it can be relatively light, like compared to like fried food type things. But yeah, as far as probably the most authentically Mexican food that I could conceivably pick in a fast food draft. I
Yeah,
may have to
I think
consider the wild card spot for some sort of variety, but uh, to be determined.
yeah, I think it definitely is more than, obviously you already have Taco Bell, but probably more authentic Mexican than a Del Taco or something like that. Taco John's. But
I've never had either of those. I haven't had a lot of fast food that's not available in St. Louis before, which is arguably a. The one time I ever had a Shake Shack was at the New Orleans airport, and I got breakfast, which is probably the funniest possible story of me getting my one experience at like a fast food place.
yeah,
Breakfast
that's
was pretty good.
yeah. I've actually never had Shake Shack either. So
That was the day after I had an extremely large frozen hurricane and a bunch of beignets um, while already pretty hungover at like 3:30 in the afternoon. So having some sort of substantive breakfast at the airport was very good, very helpful.
yeah, I wish I would have been invited on that trip, but it's fine. Actually, hearing how it went, I'm glad I wasn't there. Uh,
It could have been a mess. It's a real. There's a lot of variance. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
You could have been great. It could have been awful.
yeah. No, and knowing me
You're
when
up
I'm with
though.
you guys, my inhibitions definitely drop. All right, so got a main, a drink, a dessert left. I'm gonna go ahead and get the drink out of the way. I don't think this is one that you probably think of. I don't even know if you've heard of this restaurant. Primarily, kind of more in the south and east, but it's called Cookout. Uh, Greatest
I've
deal.
heard of it. I've never had it.
It would be so up your alley because it is like the greatest deal place ever, where you get like a box with a main and two sides. Keep in mind that your sides can be like chicken strips or a corn dog as
Oh
well,
my god.
and a drink, and it's like $5 or $6. It's fantastic.
Nice.
But in terms of drink, they sell a southern soda there that I'm a big fan of. You can get a fountain cheer wine at Cookout.
The cheer wine?
Cheer wine. It's a kind of a cherry based soda.
Okay.
Um, just something that's not readily available around here. It really is like one of my. It is the quality there? No, but like a couple of years ago, we stayed over in Memphis. Coming home, we had gone to Florida, my wife and my son, and we were in Memphis. We went to Graceland and then stayed the night there. And on the way out of town, I was like, "Babe, there's a cookout in Memphis. We can go and then hit the road." So I got to introduce my wife to cookout, and um, I discovered it in North Carolina. And it is like, because you can get a lot of food for cheap. Is it high quality food? No, but that's not what I'm going for. If it's a lot of food for cheap, um,
Sure.
so so that's what I'm gonna go with here. Is just a like in the vein of like a Baja Blast. It's something I can get there. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
and
Yeah, I
drink
have
was
no
kind of a
further
hard.
comment because I.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and drink was a hard one to come up with. You know, there is one the other place that I only listed two drinks, honestly. And the other one is a fast food place that, frankly, I pretty much only go to because of drink deals that they have.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting.
Maybe a happy hour. Uh, but,
Okay. Yeah. I do know what you're
but
thinking of. That's a place that's on my list, but I also haven't been there in like at least a decade. So
we went there as a family on, it must have been like Indigenous Peoples Day or something. Like, I don't know. No, that hasn't happened yet. That's next month. What was it? Maybe it was
I mean,
Labor
there
Day.
was one last year.
Yeah, no, but this has been like recently, so maybe it was Labor Day because it was like a random Monday I was off and we were out doing stuff as a
Okay.
family, and we're like, let's go do a drink stop. I'm just saying, anytime you can get a slush there and get the nerds in it, those are actually pretty fire. But yeah, I'm getting soda to drink along with my implied water, as we talked
Okay.
about.
Yeah. I am going to also go with a drink for my next option. I'm going to go with a much more obvious fast food location. I'm going with Burger King. Um, and that is because Burger King, at least in many locations, has the Coca-Cola Freestyle. I don't know what it is about a Coca-Cola Freestyle that makes the drinks taste better. Even if I'm only able to take one drink from it, I'll just take a Coke Zero out of it. Even though in reality, I'll be experimenting with. I think the last time I went to a Freestyle, I got like Surge Zero with cherry or something like that. It was something else,
Wait,
but
Surge Zero?
yeah, it may have been Diet Surge. It was definitely a version of Surge that did not have any calories. It was
Holy
something
crud! I need to
else.
go. I need to go find a. I need to go find a Coke Freestyle. What? How did I not know about this? Like Surge is my jam.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the freestyles are just. I don't know how expensive it is to get those in places, but it seems worth it because it seems really low maintenance. Just so many different options available to you. Why there aren't like regularly freestyle machines in like gas stations, I cannot begin to imagine. It's ridiculous as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, the obviously Burger King has a lot of options. It's probably like one of the more obvious like fast food places that we haven't gotten around to, but we'll
I'm
that's
not.
the route I'm gonna
I'm not
go.
seeing like. Oh my gosh! So like, is this like a? Was this like a Burger King like exclusive from a few years ago or something? Like, or have you had this
It was
recently?
definitely it was I would say probably less than 2 years ago, more than 1 year ago would be my guess.
Okay.
Let me
Yeah,
look.
I like. I'm looking at it and I see something that's like Surge Zero Sugar at Burger King. So maybe it was like a Burger King exclusive.
Maybe,
But like,
which
I was
does
definitely
add
like
to the
when they brought the Surge back in the 16-ounce cans, and I found out that like my local gas station had them. Like, I was loading up, and like when Walmart stocked them for a little bit, I was loading up on those.
yeah, I knew people that whenever they started selling them on Amazon were just buying them on Amazon.
Yeah, I would get in trouble if I like bought a case of it. I feel like. Um,
Yeah, you gotta pick your
I would have
battles there, I
taken.
think.
But yeah, I mean, there's a few places that do Coke Freestyle. So like Burger King, apparently, I could tell you the last time I ate at the Burger King. Wendy's does them.
Yeah, I had it on
Five,
the list for
five
Wendy's
Guys.
too, but I just
Yeah,
I don't think I knew that Five Guys had it, but
yeah.
happy to take
That's
Burger King because it blocks a lot of other options.
well, yeah. Five Guys is yeah. I will say one thing. Obviously, I didn't pick up my wild card, but one thing from Burger King I had in the wild card was the BK Crown.
Oh, okay. Like the
You know,
paper
just like
crown that they give to
yeah, just the
children.
paper
Yeah,
crown.
okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I actually also had a dessert option on there, and that was the Hershey's pie. Um,
Nice.
not exclusive to Burger King, but it slaps. It's a very like yes, I could go and buy like my own like Edwards frozen Hershey pie and just eat that whole thing. But why when I can pay almost as much for just a little slice of it in a box?
I used to
Um,
have Reese's pie there, which they don't have anymore, but it's
yeah,
a pretty premium option.
it's a sad day when they don't have that anymore because like I don't know, the chocolate peanut butter combination is just elite.
Oh yeah, there's a reason that I wanted it for my second pick with the ice cream.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear it, and yeah, I don't think that there's necessarily like a food item that I'm like, oh, let's go to Burger King. Like I s- I do have a weird nostalgic point for like a croissant sandwich, even though they're like I admit that they're not good, but I used to
They're
drive
fine.
by a Burger King all the time because I was right on the way to school. If McDonald's had a long line and I wanted breakfast before school, I'd go to Burger King. RIP that Burger King is now my favorite local sandwich place that moved into that building, which is awesome.
That's true. That's true. I haven't been to it since the remodel, but it also used to be like arguably my closest Burger King, which is not that close to where I live, so
Not
I don't really
particularly,
go
but
a whole lot.
yeah, no, but yeah. Other than that, Burger King just yeah, never been.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I did as a cheap kid when they had the BK stackers. I don't know if you remember those.
Oh yeah, those were a good deal. Yeah.
Yeah, you get like I remember as a high schooler eating like quad stackers just to show my friends I could eat them. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Um, oh, and another Burger King story from college. This is my other food achievement from that year. Along with a large fry, they had dollar double cheeseburgers, or what they call buck doubles, when we were in college.
Yeah.
I proceeded to eat 6 of those with a large French fry at one meal.
I guess. Yeah. I mean,
I mean, it's yeah. I was fat.
that
I
really
mean, I'm still fat.
this fits squarely into the like, could I do that? But then, why would I do that?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think I ever did like more than 3 after that. Um, but it was
Yeah.
just like
Like
I was with one of
three
our
is
friends,
oh,
and I was like 3 is too
if
many
you
as
get
well. Like I could have done 1 or 2, and
if
it's
you get
fine.
if you get 3 buck doubles, then it's like, oh wow, you were hungry. If you get 6 buck doubles, it's like, do you need to talk? Do we need to just like have a conversation?
I mean, to be fair, throughout college, I probably should have talked to a lot of therapists and such, but yeah, I think that's
Took a turn.
yeah. Anyway, you know what? I'm gonna go back to our previous talk though for my next pick. I'm gonna stick on sort of the chocolate peanut butter front here, and I'm gonna count this one because I think it's fairly national. Their headquarters happen to be where I live. Um, I'm gonna stick in the ice creamish realm, but I'm gonna go to frozen custard. I'm gonna go to Andy's
Everyone,
frozen
okay.
custard. I'm going to get a something that they call the James Brownie Funky Jackhammer. I get it with chocolate custard instead of the regular vanilla custard. What it is you get your custard, and then they put brownie pieces and peanut butter that they blend up, and then they put a jackhammer, as they call it, of hot fudge through the middle, which is basically just like an injection in the middle of hot fudge that's all melting all this flavor together, and it is pretty insane.
To make sure I got the name right, you said the James Brown Chunky Jackhammer.
James Brownie Funky
Brownie, okay.
Jackhammer. Funky with an
Chunky,
F.
okay. I'm trying to figure out like what the James Brown pun is. Like Funky Drummer is a song by James Brown. I'm trying to think of if that's the pun here. It seems like they like started making a pun and then just didn't quite
Yeah, I
round it
mean,
into form.
to be fair, like when I order it, I just order it and they call it like as a James Brownie. Is all you have to call it. They know what you want.
Like for the best, yeah.
It's like that's when they're like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy comes here a lot. We know. This is actually a place of maybe any of the fast food restaurants type places that I go to the most. There's one relatively close to our house. Like I said, they're headquartered actually here in Springfield. And if you don't know what one is, and you're a fan of Chapel Roan, it is the ice. There, her hot to go video. She dances in one of the parking lots of a local Andy's. So
Yeah. Uh, Hopefully the ice cream that you're ordering from Andy's is not hot to go.
um,
That is
I
the
will say though,
opposite of.
with the hot fudge in the James Brownie, it does take a while. It's in my like I have a rotation of things. I get the James Brownie. There's a triple chocolate one that I've actually started adding peanut butter to. So it's like cookie dough, melted chocolate chips with chocolate custard. But then if you add peanut butter to it, it gives you a little bit of a break from that just pure chocolateness. It's a good
So,
time.
so I've had Andy's. I have not had that particular Andy's item. So the Andy's that the Chapel Roan video was at, did they have a flavor called My Kink is Caramel? There's a pun for everybody.
I'm gonna say, I mean, that is the next like logic. It's funny because Andy is like a lot of the like celebrity ones that they do, if you want to call them that. There are things they're with NASCAR drivers because they literally like are like the main sponsor of one of the NASCAR drivers.
Like
Um,
Jamie McMurray or something, or
and I mean, I forget who they sponsor now. It used to be, um, they used to be a minor sponsor thing like Kyle Busch, and now they're I don't know who it is, but
okay.
um, yeah, it's a lot of different things, but yeah, it's like I'm a guy that like if I can have the choice between ice cream and frozen custard, I'm gonna take frozen custard like 9 times out of 10. I think.
I agree.
I grew up. Although granted, I grew up eating my frozen custard at a place called Spanky's, which are rest in peace for a long time, Spanky's. But that was, I guess, started my love of that. So, all right, you got side and wild card left. Where you heading?
All right. Uh, in the immortal words of Rob Reiner in The Wolf of Wall Street, sides. I will with go with Culver's. I'll go with the Wisconsin cheese curds.
Attaboy. I had them on my list. I was a little
Yeah,
sad when I went with the chili that I left cheese curds on there. Um, Culver is actually probably my second favorite cheese curd, but
I couldn't resist you going for like the Butterburger as a main. That was just it was too plausible for me. So
yeah,
this is the
fun
route I'm gonna
fact, the
go.
main I had on my list was not a Butterburger from them. It's actually the pork tenderloin sandwich. I'm a big fan of.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of like the mainline items of Culver's. Like even like their fries are like edible, but like never a thing that I would ever crave. But yeah, the cheese curds,
Yeah,
their
they're
ice
fun.
cream's really good too. But
Yeah,
the curds are where it's at. I'm always gonna prefer like more of a cheese curd from like a bar or something as opposed to a fast food
yeah,
one. But I think the ones from Culver's are like clearly the best of the fast food cheese curds. Like the
same.
ones from like the ones that they have at Dairy Queen are just like decidedly mid. So
Yeah, my favorite ones. I don't know if you've ever been here, but Freddy's has some good cheese curds.
I did not know they had cheese curds. I'm gonna have to try that because there are some Freddy's around here that I've never been to, but
Yeah,
it might be worth a try.
they're a good one. A&W, like I only go to one of those. There's one in Branson at the outlet mall that I go to when we're down there.
Yeah. A&W was under consideration for me for drink for
Oh, the on
like
tap,
root beer.
like
They can't tell if it's actually like any different than like
it feels
regular
different
like
though, man. Feels different.
different. Yes, correct.
I mean, also I didn't even think about like a dessert would have been like a root beer float from there. Would have been a potential dessert option.
I still have a wild card available. In theory, I could take any of these
Yeah,
things.
you could take anything. Man.
I think it'd be a really good bit if I just took a different Coke Zero. I'm just like I'm gonna get the Coke Zero at Jack in the Box now
I will
to
say
change up my options.
something I wouldn't. When you're at them, I tried this at an AMC movie theater, and it's sort of become a thing when I go to if I'm just getting a Coke Zero at a Coke Freestyle. Orange vanilla Coke Zero slaps.
Sounds very good. Yeah.
It's very good. I would recommend, take a swig of it, see if it's now every time I go to an AMC, if I get popcorn, I have to get an orange vanilla Coke Zero because there's just something about it that hits a little different. All right. So I have a
You
main
have
dish left.
you do.
All right. So the question is, do I make it so we really don't even have a burger drafted?
I mean,
And
I
I
still have
might.
another pick, so
It's true. And it's funny because I'm trying to diversify because honestly my two favorite things on here are probably like chicken items, but like I already have the famous bowl and orange chicken. So like which to me to be fair, like I could eat chicken like every day. Like I have no problem with that. Like chicken's my staple. That being said, you know what? Let's get crazy here. And what I will take with my last main dish. Screw it. They're just my favorite now. I don't care if it's more fried chicken. I'm gonna take Wingstop's hot honey wings.
Nice. Okay.
They are
So
now a permanent flavor, which is awesome.
I have a quick question.
Hmm.
So Wingstop obviously is a standalone restaurant. It used to
Hmm.
be that Pizza Hut like had Wingstop as like their brand. Is it like a
That
spin-off restaurant?
no, Pizza Hut's was Wing Street.
Oh, okay. That's what I was. This whole time I've been thinking it was just a continuation of. I guess I never had
Nope.
Wingstop then. I had Wing Street, but
Yeah,
okay.
Wingstop. I mean, they have good fries. You can actually get the hot honey rub on their French fries as well.
Oh, nice.
Which I did that at like I actually ordered recently because they had it was I think it was like last week they had free delivery through like DoorDash or whatever, and buy one get one free chicken sandwiches. So like I ordered two chicken sandwiches and fries and didn't have to pay delivery fee. It was pretty fantastic. Well, my family was out one day, and so for lunch I had a hot honey chicken sandwich, and the next day for lunch I had a garlic parmesan chicken sandwich. And their chicken sandwich is actually pretty good too. But yeah, I'm gonna do their wings just because like it's I don't know my favorite place in terms of I guess.
Yeah. So it looks like we are going to. This is wild. I just noticed this. We don't have a single sandwich on our like
Oh wow.
unless you're gonna do like a burrito as like an incredibly loose interpretation of a sandwich. It's not even like the hot dog as a sandwich thing.
Yeah.
I am going to go with a sandwich though. I am going to go with the veggie sandwich from Jimmy John's. Um, as far as like fast food like sub sandwiches, like I was always just getting the veggie delight from Subway. Like I just think that like and the meat's actually okay at Jimmy John's, but the meat at Subway is just god awful. So I just steered clear of it altogether. Uh, the uh, the reason I went with the veggie with Jimmy John's is that the best thing about Jimmy John's is the quality of their bread, and if you put veggies on there, you don't. It doesn't like take away from the quality of the bread at all. It allows kind of the primary and best ingredient to really shine. It is a food that I have not had that many times in my life, but it is incredible as a hangover cure. Strongly recommend. I mean, on like I had two foods that I had on my list that were basically just like foods that I really only ever have if I'm hungover, but boy, do they hit. The other one was St. Louis Bread Company slash Panera grilled cheese sandwich, but I just didn't feel like a grilled cheese sandwich was quite the
Yeah.
level of excitement here because I can make a grilled cheese sandwich at home that tastes pretty much the same as a. But
Yeah.
if I'm hungover, I don't feel like cooking, so that's
That's
where
fair.
that comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but Jimmy John's definitely
so we
quality. But
Yeah, so we now have a sandwich of some sort on our fast food draft, which
woohoo.
is
Yeah. So what's a few items that were on your list that were available that you didn't like take anything that you're like, oh, I want to check that one out.
so I did give some consideration, even though I think it's generally kind of overrated to the Chick-fil-A just classic chicken sandwich. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that Chick-fil-A tends to be overpriced, but I'm not
Yeah.
going to pretend that it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
have
did give some,
spicy chicken sandwich on there from Chick-fil-A.
yeah, I gave some potential to the stuffed jalapenos at Jack in the Box, which is if you're in the right mood, is a nice little
See,
side.
I had a side from Jack in the Box as well on my list. I had the bacon cheddar sandwiches.
Nice. Yeah, so I had a whole host. So I did not like, to me, like, a pizza from, like, Pizza Hut or whatever is not fast food, but I think a side can count as fast food. So I did give some consideration to, like, crazy bread from Little Caesars.
That is on my list. I
Uh,
had three different types of breadsticks on my list.
Parmesan bread bites from Domino's.
Those are solid. I didn't put some, but
I
those are
put
good.
I put the cheese sticks from Papa John's, but I'm a little bit less comfortable with classifying that because it's in like a pizza box.
Yeah, they're good
They're
though.
very
Like,
good. I'm just yeah.
yeah, uh, I put Fazoli's breadsticks on my list.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
Yeah,
while there's nothing good about Fazoli's, like there's something nostalgic about sitting in that restaurant when I was a kid after church and getting the breadsticks brought to you in a basket.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, Olive Garden has that
also,
effect too, but obviously it doesn't qualify as fast food.
right, yeah. I also did Pizza Hut's just regular breadsticks because I really like those. Just their traditional
Yeah,
breadstick. Um, yeah, the other side I had was Penn Station French fries. Um,
I don't think I've ever had the French fries from Penn Station before.
hand cut, like when you order
Huh,
it's surprising I
interesting.
didn't go with a fry like Penn Station and the other one, the other fry on my list that I was thought you were going to go with when you were talking about Arby's was Rowley's and over Checkers
Oh, they're
French
pretty
fries.
good.
I actually I don't ever get those because there's not one down here. However, I do frequently buy the frozen version of them, and we eat those um, at our house because they're
Yeah,
very
good
good.
call.
Um, yeah,
You ready?
I just want to do a few other things I put on my list of that work
Okay.
for the mains. I did put the internet double on there. It's not when I get off him, but if I'm ever in Texas or out West Coast, I'll stop in. Um, I give some credence to Fish from Long John Silver's, um, only
I
because
actually completely forgot.
like
I
it
completely
hits.
forgot about Long John Silver's as like like a fast food restaurant.
Yeah,
That and White Castle are two that I kind of realized, like,
yeah,
huh, I didn't even think about that, did I?
yeah.
Huh.
It's funny. I put like him on my list, but I also put Fish from there and like Fish Nibblers from White Castle. Uh,
I like
just
the
because
mozzarella sticks from White Castle.
oh, that's solid. I like a good chicken ring slider from time to time too. But
Yeah.
also put a corn dog from A&W as a main
Nice.
option. So it's an actual choice there. Uh, Hardee's baked egg and cheese biscuit. Big Hardee's breakfast guy as well. And then I did put one pizza like I put pizza Pizza on there. I think they're like the melt or
Okay.
whatever they call them.
Yeah,
But
I think that qualifies.
I do talk about the wild card item. It is the pizza Hut item I want to bring up because my wife and I are just like playing with all the cheese. They bring back this stuffed cheese at pizza from Pizza Hut.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Those were so good. Like we would get those like once a week because they were like the thing in 2019 after we got married. So we were just no kids living the life of doing a good. No, you order pizza, get shit pizza. Yeah, and it was probably the best
Well, I
when they
haven't.
were doing all the gimmicky pizzas, stuff like the hot dog crust, and they bring back like create your own crust with the pretzel crust because it's also really good.
Oh, that was so. Oh, yeah. The pretzel crust from Pizza Hut was so good. One thing. So, have you had at Taco Bell? They have like it's like a Cheez-It Crunch Wrap thing that they have
I've
now.
I've seen it on social media, but like, and I've seen more people just
So,
go and get nothing but the cheese. And I'm like, why?
yeah. Apparently, you can just buy the Cheez-It just like on its own now. I mean, it's still like $1, $1.50, and it's basically just an oversized Cheez-It. You're better off getting like a box of Cheez-Its, but
Jesus. Yeah,
could be a fun bit. I don't know. I haven't had it.
yeah, a lot of people. I've seen people who do that on the socials, and I'm like, I don't know. I have a very defense for this Taco Bell, is that I don't typically like to eat it unless it's after 8 p.m. Um, unless my wife says I'll Taco Bell, and then what am I supposed to say? No, that's fine. I'll eat something at home. Nah.
You gotta live Moss. You
You
ready
know,
to recap the
yeah, man.
you ready to recap
You,
the lists? All right.
yeah, let's get
So Jason's menu is orange chicken from Panda Express, hot honey wings from Wingstop, hash browns from McDonald's, chili from Wendy's, the James Brown. Hold on, I had it right kind of small because I kept messing up the name. The James Brownie Funky Jackhammer. Is
boy.
that right?
That is correct.
All right, from Andy's, Cheerwine from Cookout, which is definitely a real place, and the famous bowl from KFC. My list, the list of John, is the cheesy bean and rice burrito from Taco Bell, the burrito bowl from Chipotle. I had the whole list of my things in it. You can just go back and listen to it. Curly fries from Arby's, Wisconsin cheese curds from Culver's, Reese's peanut butter blizzard from Dairy Queen, Coke Zero from the Freestyle machine at Burger King, and the veggie sandwich from Jimmy John's. I have never been more happy that I ate before we recorded than I am right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that because I'm like, I don't know how I feel now. Except because I'm like, I didn't have to like, do that research. Like, just move
Yeah.
all on this. Also, just to see,
It
I had
feels
to
a
write the chat to prove that guy's real. And, like, yeah, um,
Yeah, I'll have to do some research there.
um, right, like, place looks like, but yeah, I mean, um, let us know on social medias who you guys think the winner in this draft was. Um, I do want to give a shout out to our mutual friend Ben on this podcast who contacted me this week and said he liked some of the stories, he's listened to the podcast. So big shout out
Oh,
to you, Ben. Hope
nice.
you're feeling good. I'll give you a plug. Go check him out on what's it now? Soundwords STL. Is that the name of his
Soundword Central.
Soundwords Central? That's right. It used to be STL. Apologize for that,
It did
Ben. But
use. I think if you type STL, then I think it still shows up. I think it'll just redirect you. But
and John, I know in the past you've done some work with Ben and that stuff as well. So I want to let Ben know that we appreciate him and we'll give him a free plug because why not, man?
yeah, it's such a valuable bit of PR.
Hey, it's a sign. It's a show of love to just a good
We're just
dude.
gonna we're just gonna give shout outs to people just to verify if they're listening to the show.
Mhm.
We've on multiple occasions just mentioned the concept of women listening. I have been contacted by 0 women saying that they listened, but uh, maybe
Yeah,
they're just
I
shy. I don't know.
yeah. My wife has not listened to an episode. I guess I do know one. I would say girl, and that would be like who's heard at least part of an episode, and that being the daughter of one of my pastors who was listening to an episode of our podcast. Um, but
It wasn't the hottest presidents one.
no, no, no. This was way back in the early. It might have actually been the movie draft one,
Oh, okay,
like
that's
way
fine.
back when. So yeah, it's but yeah, let us know, hit us up, and maybe we'll start to do more shout outs and that type of stuff. But yeah, if you're a woman who listens to the show, tweet at Draft Day Pod, and we will shout you out um, hardcore on the next episode for being a
Don't
female
put it like
listener.
that.
Yeah,
That makes it
okay.
sound like a terrible idea.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I'm a very dorky married man
This
who
man is clearly drunk. This man is clearly out of his
they're,
mind.
they're I'm eating the cats. I'm eating the dogs.
That'd have been a good. I guess that'd be a wild card item.
Yeah, I am in Springfield.
That's
I think I talked
it's
about that
true.
on the last episode we did.
I believe you definitely talked about it to me. Whether it actually made the final episode, I don't remember. But yeah,
I
that
believe that's
definitely came up.
actually that was actually the story that Ben said he liked my anecdote about. I believe when he
Okay.
sent me a message. So, but yeah, John, where can the people find you?
Find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, JohnJF125, STLBullpen .com. It's also the Twitter handle. Season's almost over for baseball, so that means I'll probably actually start coming up with ideas now. But you can check it there regardless. Then obviously you can listen to this podcast, wherever you're currently listening to it, or B, you can listen to it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube Podcasts, or whatever it's called now. There's a lot of places you can listen to it. At the very
Yeah,
least, where
any
you're currently listening to it would work.
yeah, anywhere podcasts are found, I'll say. And if it's not on that one, yell at them until they put us on there. But then I would ask, how'd you
I
find
mean,
us? But
for real, if there's a service that doesn't have it that you want to listen to the podcast on, let me know. I could probably try to get it figured out. I feel like once I cracked the Apple code, I think I'll be okay to find new ones. I just don't know where people listen because I don't really conversate with people about where they listen to podcasts.
yeah, I think that's
But
probably I'm probably in that same boat. I don't really know. And like I said, I literally shouted out the one person who hasn't like been on our show who says they listen to the podcast to me.
yeah,
So
pretty.
I
Yeah,
mean,
we gotta get Bet on sometime.
yeah, hey man, all I gotta say is in Missouri, I'm gonna get political. So let's pass Amendment 2, so then we can have DraftKings or somebody sponsor us. Like it's a match made in heaven. So
God. Yeah, I like the idea of that being the argument for Amendment Two. All the commercials are just like about like schools. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, I guess that's
it's
part
one of
of
those
it.
where it's like it's schools, but yeah, you've been saying about the lottery for how long and how much money a school's seen from it. Okay, that's what I thought. So
Yeah,
it's more of I just am sad that my friends have to drive over the border to Illinois to place online sports betting and then drive back if they want to do it. So
we live a lot closer to a border than you do. That I guess you
well, and
don't care about doing it. So
I mean, it's not legal in the borders I'm close to, I don't believe. So,
like Kansas is probably the closest one.
mm,
I don't think
Kansas and
Arkansas or
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma have it.
Yeah, does Kansas allow sports betting?
So I don't know or honestly care, but
Yeah, Oklahoma and
um
Arkansas, I would almost guarantee don't.
yeah.
But yeah, anyway, you can find me on Twitter at DraftDayDadShaw. And
Cool.
yeah, if you have any ideas for drafts, let us know because I feel like John and I are getting busy and it's becoming much more spur of the moment than it was at the beginning. Um, but until next time, draft on draft day. I got nothing, guys. We'll see you next time.
Shine on, you crazy draft days. Made sense, right?